Okay.
Hi everyone. I'm so excited that you're able to join us, all those that are attending the conference in Florida via video. This is amazing technology. I'm so grateful for it. And I'm so grateful that you're able to share in the presentation of this year's Space Nostra Award. And I'm so pleased to recognize this year Jerry and Dianne Muth as recipients of the 2012 Space Nostra Award. The last thing Jerry and Dianne want is attention drawn to themselves. When I called Dianne to tell her about the award, Dianne's first reaction was, no. But then she paused and she said, well, if it'll bring attention to our schools and help our schools, then okay. So here we are, and I'm so glad that we're surrounded by family to make this a little bit less embarrassing and awkward for both Jerry and Dianne. Before we get underway, though, I'd like to take an opportunity to make a few acknowledgments, in particular to Dan Guernsey and Denise Donahue. Without Dan and Denise, the conference would not take place. I'm very grateful for all of their efforts. They both have full, busy lives, and so for all the time and effort that they put into planning and preparing for the conference, all that time is so greatly appreciated. And those of you who are attending for the first time, you're in for an amazing weekend. You're going to meet some wonderful people and make some lifelong friends. And I'm so glad that because of the video, you're going to get a chance or put a face to the names of Jerry and Dianne Muth and Fran and Margie Crotty. Without the Muths and without the Crottys, Colby Academy would not have happened. NAPCIS would not have happened. And so many schools across the country that got inspiration and invaluable support from Colby Academy would not have happened. I also want to thank all of our friends at Ave Maria University for their warm welcome and accommodation for this year's conference. This is our 12th national conference, but the 10th that's been hosted at Ave Maria College and Ave Maria University. It's been a long and rewarding association. I'm sure that will continue for many years to come. And I also want to thank the Muth family for this wonderful celebration. And in particular, Janet and Mike Bach for making this video possible. Well, it's March 11th, and we're here in Napa, California at the home of one of Jerry and Dianne's daughters for a Muth family brunch, which is an occasion that they have frequently to celebrate birthdays and other family celebrations. I'm surrounded here today by the legacy of Jerry and Dianne. Not all are here today, but the legacy consists of 10 children, 42 grandchildren, and 6 great-grandchildren. And it's a legacy that's being lived out in Colby Academy and Trinity Prep. 3 children and 11 grandchildren graduated from Colby Trinity. And currently 18 grandchildren are attending Colby Trinity. 31 plus years ago, Colby Academy started in 1980. But for some time prior to that date, the 3 founding families, the Muths, the Crottys, and the Corteses, spent many hours in prayer and kitchen roundtables, realizing their crazy dream. And Fran always told us, you have to be a little crazy to do something like this. They were realizing their dream to start a school that would teach the fullness of the Catholic faith. And this dream gave birth to a vision of Catholic education that is Colby Academy. The reality was a total embrace of their obligation as the primary educators of their children. The first time I met Dianne was at Colby Academy, and it was in the fall of 1992. I had that crazy dream to start a school, and I went to visit Colby Academy. And I knew as soon as I walked through the doors that this was a very special place. Fran spent a great deal of time with me that morning, and I was in awe of his experience and all the stories that he had to tell. We came to a break in our conversation, and it was recess time. And Dianne was out in the yard with the lower grades that she was teaching at the time. And Dianne knew why I was there. And she looked at me and she said, "You know what these schools are all about? It's all about salvation of souls and academic excellence. And every decision that you make as a founding group or board is made with that in mind." Salvation of souls and academic excellence has become the mantra of NAPCIS. It's in all of our literature. And I pass it along to everyone that I speak to who's thinking of starting a school. Those words of wisdom, salvation of souls and academic excellence, that's what it's all about. Jerry and Dianne Muth and Fran and Margie Crotty were pioneers in the Catholic independent school movement. And I am so pleased that Jerry and Dianne's partners in craziness are here today. Fran and Margie Crotty, and Fran's going to say a few words.
What I'd like to say is thank you to Jerry and Dianne Muth. They co-sponsored Colby Academy with the Corteses. And it's no small thing to say that my thanks go to Jerry and Dianne Muth to have assisted us in the work at Colby Academy. Dianne for her teaching, the grammar school at Colby, and Jerry for his untiring effort with bookkeeping, accounting, is phenomenal. And all I can say is Godspeed to Jerry and Dianne, and may you benefit from what you've started.
Thank you, Fran.
Yeah, sure.
By their fruits you shall know them. And this is definitely true of the Muth and the Crotty families. It's also true of NAPCIS schools. Look at the first graduating class of Colby Academy. Christopher Crotty, son of Fran and Margie, is now a priest with the Fathers of Mercy. Brian Muth, son of Jerry and Dianne, is now principal at Colby Academy Trinity Prep. I was there in 2010 at the graduation ceremony when Brian handed the high school diploma to his daughter. What a proud moment that was to witness. And Brian is here today to speak to us.
Thank you for this opportunity. It's not easy for me to say what I'm going to say because I know my mom and dad they generally are very private people, and they don't like the public accolades, but they really do deserve it. I remember from a child's perspective, as the Crotties, my parents and the Corteses were planning for Colby Academy. We mostly liked it because the later their meeting went, the later we got to stay outside and play. So we knew something was going on. We weren't sure exactly what. So as we found out they were looking to start a school, it became obvious why. I think a lot of the reason was their experience in public school and their experience in parochial school. Public schools weren't educating their children, and parochial schools were doing sex education, which is something they did not want to have their children exposed to. Much to my surprise, I thought they were going to start Colby Academy through 1st through 6th grade, and I was going to 7th grade at public school with all my friends, and much to my surprise, they started a school that went for grades 1 through 7. And I was rather surprised at that and somewhat dismayed at the time, but I certainly would never change it for anything. They wanted more for their children. They wanted an intensive education, especially in the faith. They wanted smaller class sizes and a really back to basics approach, and I think they've accomplished that quite well. There's the old saying, you know, that it's easy for me to say this when people ask about what we do at Colby Trinity, for instance, or with the homeschool, or when we're helping other schools get off the ground. The phrase, standing on the shoulder of giants. And there's no question in my mind, it's very easy for me to deflect anything that's sent my way, because I wouldn't be where I am today without the efforts of my parents, the Crotties and the Corteses. I look back so fondly on my time at Colby, and it's really what drove me to come back, to give back, was their example through the years. I mean, down to this present day, my mom tutors children in reading, 1st and 2nd graders, and helps them become better readers, something she's always loved to do. It's one of her, I think she relishes the challenge, and she loves working with the little kids, and they love seeing her, and their faces light up, and her face lights up. My dad is a tireless laborer still about yard work. We have a work day, my dad is there. And people are amazed, that's your dad? Oh my gosh, he's working harder than anybody else, or any 3 other people combined. And so, you know, these are people who, at a time in their lives, they could certainly justify resting on their laurels and relaxing. They just continue to tirelessly give back. And as their son and as the principal of the school they founded, I can only say thank you. Thank you.
In addition to the vocations to the priesthood and religious, the greatest fruits of NAPCIS schools will be the graduates who become leaders of our church and society as teachers, doctors, lawyers, and good parents like Jerry and Dianne. And so the legacy goes on. Jerry and Dianne are now enjoying their retirement, as Brian just described. Most of us are looking forward to travel, hobbies, reading, which is what Jerry and Dianne are doing. They travel to every homeschooling conference that there is across the country. Jerry's pursuing his hobbies of yard work and carpentry work, designing shelves, everything that the homeschool could possibly need, Jerry is there to do. Dianne has lots of time for reading as her full-time volunteer work in the homeschool, and now volunteering to tutor reading at the day school. And so the selfless commitment that Jerry and Dianne have shown for the last 31 plus years keeps going on. I love you too, and from the bottom of my heart, with the deepest of affection and gratitude for your friendship, I am so proud and pleased to present the Space Nostra Award for 2012 to Jerry and Dianne Muth. And as soon as I have somebody pass it to me, I'll be able to hand it to you. There we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
Today is my son Christopher's birthday, March 11th.
Perfect. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Father Crotty. Father Crotty has been chaplain at many of our conferences, and we wish him the safest of travels and God's blessing in all of the mission work that he does across the country. Well, God bless you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Annie.
And have a wonderful weekend at the conference. Enjoy every minute, every precious moment that you have with one another. And make a promise to yourself and to one another that you'll stay in touch with one another. Rely on each other. Keep each other in prayer. And know that you're not alone, and have so many wonderful friends that will support you in all of your efforts. And know that you are close in my heart and always in my prayers. Good night from all of us, and can we get just a can of the new plan? Thank you all. This is great. So funny, David. I knew you were going to do that.
Very nice. Is there stuff at the
Did you send me a copy?
And Diane has 2 ends.
I'll send it to Aaron.
Hey, how about this? Oh my God.
So if today is Chris's birthday, Bridget's is either.
Can I have one more shot facing me?
They would never tell me.